What's happening, guys? Oxford King here, and in this Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC video, I'm going to walk you through how to get your game performing even better. Let's get started. If at any point this video was helpful, please drop a like and drop a comment. Share this video so others can get access to a better performing 7 Rebirth experience. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is come over to the Nexus website, and we're going to head over to the FF7 Hook location. And yes, I will have these links pinned at the comment section. So look for these links. It'll take you straight here. Once you come here, remember to sign in to the Nexus site. Scroll down and click on the Files tab. Scroll down a little bit more, and you're going to see the section called Main Files, and then the first area here called FF7 Hook Rebirth. Go ahead and click that, okay? Now, once you click this, it's going to open up. You're going to have manual download. Click on that. Your next option is to click on slow download. Let's go ahead and wait for this to download, and then we'll go over the next steps after that. Okay, so here is the folder that downloaded, or the file rather. Let's go ahead and select this and extract it with your favorite extracting program of your choice. I'll go ahead and stick with the one that Windows 11 came with. And once that's extracted, it looks just like this here. For ease of use, I'll go ahead and just delete the zipped file to keep it neat and clean. Let's go ahead and open up this folder here, and this is what you get. You get a file called Engine and a folder called End. Now, both of these will go in 2 different locations. Let's walk through that. So first, let's go ahead and place the End folder where it needs to go, and that's going to go where the game was installed. How do we know where that is? Simple. Open up Steam, and then come over to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right-click this, go to Properties. In this window right here, you're going to look for Installed Files off to the left. After that, you're going to click on a button called Browse. Once you click that, this window will pop up. This is where the game is installed. Now, you're going to simply cut or copy the folder End from the zipped area off to the right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. Then we're going to come over to this folder location where the game is installed, and we're going to paste it. It's asking me, do you want to replace this file? Yes, let's go ahead and replace it. That's step number 1. Now, where do we put this engine file at? So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and either hit Start and locate the folder called Documents, or when you open up the File Explorer, look off to the left, and you're going to see a folder called Documents, okay? Once you click on Documents, your next folder is My Games. After that, click on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth folder, and then click on the folder called Saved. After that, you're going to click on a folder called Config, and then Windows No Editor folder. Open that one up right there. Now, here, you're going to see a bunch of these files. None of this will probably be in your computer, so don't worry about that, okay? If you see all this stuff and you're saying, Ox, I don't have any of this stuff, it is okay, because once you play the game, you're going to have these files in here. Next, grab the engine file and simply drop it into this location. You can see that I already have it right here on your screen. Engine is already here. Now, once you've done this, let's go ahead and double click it and open it up. Now, a lot of you have seen this channel once before when I did the FF7 Remake Stutter Fix. This is the same exact step, same thing. Now, when you see this right here, I'm going to go ahead and blow this up, and you can see that it's not going to probably look like yours. That's okay. So what I want you to do is I'm going to put this in the very top comment. I'm going to copy all of this right here, and you're simply going to just paste that into your file. You're going to either hit Control-S to save or File Save. It's your choice. Now, I want to walk through some things real quick. If you notice, some of these have a comment on them and some do not. This is your choice. It's your game. You do what you want to do with your game. Now, what I've done here is I have the VSync completely turned off with the 0. I also have the max FPS set to 0, which means it's going to be unlocked. Here, I have the dynamic resolution completely turned off. You do not have to do this. If you like dynamic resolution for performance, don't worry about this. So what I have is a 0 here for operation mode, and then the min screen percentage is at 100. Again, if you do like dynamic res, simply put hashtag or comments just like this, like that, and save. That way you will have dynamic resolution. I want this disabled, so I'm going to remove the comments. These next 4 are completely optional for you. If you don't want volumetric fog, remove the comment. If you don't want motion blur and the quality, also the motion blur here, simply remove these comments and hit save, and you won't have motion blur in your game. It's up to you. Just remember to save. Okay, the next part of this video, we're going to be installing or enabling frame generation into 7 Rebirth. So you're going to come over to this website. Again, the link is at the pinned comment at the very top. Come over here, and it's going to say OptiScaler at the very top. That's how you know you're in the right spot. Simply go all the way down to the very bottom of this screen, and you're going to look for this top asset area where it says OptiScaler and the version number. You'll know you're in the right spot because this date here will probably be for you, November 19th, 2024. So go ahead and click this button and download it. Okay, once you have it downloaded, it's going to be a zipped file. So again, like the prior steps, go ahead and unzip this folder. We're going to extract all right here. And what I'm going to do to keep it neat and clean for us is I'm going to delete the zipped folder so we're not so confused. Now we have the OptiScaler folder. Let's go ahead and double click this and open it up. And you're going to have all these files and a couple of folders here. Now the next step is, where do we place this at? So again, like I told you before, and I'll walk you through this again, no problem. Let's go ahead and go back to Steam. Let's go ahead and right click and go to Properties, and then go to Installed Files, and then Browse to take us right back to where the game is installed. Now, once you're here, go ahead and open up the folder called End. After that, you're going to open the folder called Binaries, and then Win64. Now, here is where we're going to be dropping the files and 2 folders into. So what I'm going to do on the right side is I'm going to grab all this. You can cut or copy. It's absolutely your choice. And we're going to come over to where the game is installed on the left part of your screen on the video, and we're going to paste that in there. Now, we have another step here. So we're going to look for a DLL file called nvngx.dll, and I'll do the best I can in post to zoom in even better for you guys so you can see it better with the text, right? It's so small, but not to be confused, because there's one right here that says nvngx. There's this file here, but then there's this DLL file. So make sure you have the right one. Make sure it says .dll, okay? We're going to rename this, okay? Right click and click on rename and erase that name. And then we're going to simply type in the letters DXGI, just like that, and hit enter. And now that file is renamed. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab the DLSS file that is already with the game. It's already been installed, but we need to grab a certain file. Now, where is that file? So what I've done here is I went back to the original installation directory of where the game's installed. So again, like I mentioned prior sections of this video, just open up Steam and then right click 7 Rebirth, go to Properties. You're going to go to Installed Files and then Browse. It'll take you exactly what I'm talking about right here again and again, okay? Next, from here, we're going to open up the folder called Engine. And then the next folder we're going to open is called Plugins. And then open up the only folder here called DLSS Subset. And then here, open up the only folder you have is Binaries. And again, open the only folder you have here called Third Party. And then also the only folder you have here is Win64. Go ahead and open up that folder. In here, you're going to have a DLL file called nvngx_DLSS.dll. What we're going to do is go ahead and click this and copy this, okay? Control C or right click and copy. It's absolutely your choice. Now, do you remember the directory we were just in just a second ago? We're going to back up. So what I'm going to do to keep it real simple for you guys on the video is I'm going to hit the back button once, again, and then again, get us right back to this point right here. Do you remember this right here? So here we are at the default location. Here, we're going to open up the folder called End, and then the next folder is Binaries. And then the next folder here is Win64. Now, you remember this location here, right? Paste that file in this directory, and you'll see what you have on screen right here, right? The nvngx_DLSS. Paste that there like you see on screen. Now, we're not done. The next thing we need to do here is rename this, okay? Simply right-click and click on Rename. We're going to erase the part that says _DLSS, and we're going to keep it that nvngx.dll. Noticing a pattern here, this was the same DLL name as the one we changed earlier. Okay, we're just kind of replacing that and putting this there in its place. Does that make sense? Our next step is to open up a folder called DLSS Overrides, which is right here. Go ahead and open up that folder. And you're going to see a couple of registry entries. You're going to click on the one that says Enable Signature Override. This is a registry entry you're going to double click on just like this. It's going to ask you, would you like to run this or cancel? We're going to say run and go ahead and say yes to this registry edit. It's going to say adding information can intentionally blah, blah, blah. Read that if you want to. Are you sure you want to continue doing this? Yes. Go ahead and do that. And then registry editor, hit OK. Once you've done that, you have now enabled that signature override for that prior step. That part is complete. Okay, let's go ahead and boot up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here and go ahead and get to whatever section you are in the game. I'm going to hit continue. I'm not very far in the PC version right now, and that's okay. What we're going to do here is you can click on the insert key, and the insert key is going to bring this menu up here, okay? Now, if this is too small for you on your monitor, a way that you can scale this up is come down to the very bottom of the screen. There's a drop down here, and you can scale this up just like this in case you can't read it, okay? It's completely your choice. I'm going to go ahead and have this at this scale here. I think it's probably good and legible for you guys on the video. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is come to the very top section where it says upscalers. And you're going to see a drop down here where you have XeSS, which is the Intel upscaler. You're going to have your AMD FSR versions along with DLSS. I'm on an NVIDIA 3080 Ti. I'm going to leave mine on DLSS, hit apply. Next up, we're going to look at the frame generation section of this video. If you notice, there's something called frame generation. Go ahead and click that button, okay? Now we're going to have frame generation enabled, but I want to show you something real quick. I'm going to uncheck this. Look at the frames per second at the very bottom. You notice I have 56.2 frames per second. By the way, I'm not using any dynamic scaling at all. This is 100% rendered resolution. We are not using 66% or 50% or none of that. If you notice this, we're at 55.8. I'm going to select this button, and what do you know? It jumps up to 89.2. Be sure to say Save INI. Now, I want to show you something real quick. To get rid of this menu, click on the Insert key to get rid of that. Now we have frame gen enabled, but we have a problem. The problem is look at the menu. When you pan your camera around, look how blurry the menu is. This is what frame generation introduces to static UI elements. The game runs butter smooth right now, at least it does on my monitor. It looks absolutely stunning, but that menu is super annoying. How do we fix that? Well, go ahead and select or hit the insert key once again. It's going to take us to this screen here, okay? Next, we're going to click on, remember that frame generation area? Look at the one right below it where it says FG, that stands for frame generation, HUD fix. Go ahead and select that. Now, off to the right, it has the number 1. So let's see what number 1 looks like. Click on the insert key, open up your menu, and you can see it's still kind of blurry, right? Okay, cool. Let's see if we can't bump it up and fix that as well. So go ahead and hit number 2. Let's see what it does. I'm going to pan my camera around. Number 2 is still pretty blurry in my humble opinion. Let's go ahead and select on 3 and see what happens. 3 looks pretty good. Let's select 4. I don't know what 4 is going to do. Let's see what 4 does. 4 looks actually a little better in my opinion. I kind of like 4. Let's see what 5 does. 5 looks good too. I actually don't know how high this limit can go. Let's keep clicking. It looks like it can go on forever. So what we'll do is I kind of like 3 and 4. Let me go back to 3 and see how it looks. I don't see a little bit of artifacting. It actually looks pretty good. 3 looks pretty good. I'm going to put it on 4 one more time and see what happens. I don't really see any issues with 4 either. They look both kind of the same, so it's going to be your choice. And also remember to hit Save INI as well if you're done with this step. Now, here's another thing that you can do. You can actually click on the FG Allow Asynchronous, okay, which is going to be frame generation to allow the sync right here, the async. You can select that for more performance if you want to. So check this out. Look at the bottom of your screen. You see where it says the milliseconds right here at 15 milliseconds and the frames per second? I'm going to select this and see what happens. Go ahead and select that. Now our milliseconds kind of went up and then right back down, and now we're at 65 frames per second. It can get you some more performance. So check this box and see if it helps. It looks like it jumped up by like 1, maybe 2 frames. So it can really help you out. It looks like it jumped up by 2 frames on what it's showing on my screen, okay? And remember to hit Save.ini. Now, if you want this to jump back up, check this out. You notice how it jumped back down like that? Go back down to 1 like this. Look what happened. Now we're at 110. So I wanted to bring this up in the video because any change that you make here, it may drop your frames down from the frame gen, and it's kind of pointless, right? It's kind of moot. So to fix that, simply change your HUD fix back down to 1 and then up to 3 or 4, completely your choice. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm going to uncheck this. You see how when I unchecked FG Allow Async, my frames dropped to 66, okay? If you come back up to FG HUD Fix and lower this down to a 1, it goes back up to 105 and then changes up to a 3, and now we're at 120, okay? Click on FG Allow Async, and look what happens again, it falls again. So I'm bringing this up so many times because I need for you to remember that. When you're playing around with this, check out your frames. Oh, remember, come up here and select the FG HUD Fix, back down to 1 and back up to 3 or 4, completely your choice. Just remember to hit save.ini or whatever it is at the bottom of your screen. Now, here's another thing that you can do. If you feel the game is a little blurry, there's a sharpness area at the very top of your screen. You're going to check this box called Override. And now you have a slider all the way down to 0, all the way up to 1.3. And yes, the sharpness changes in real time. So you don't have to, pause the game to look. It's actually happening right now on the screen right now in real time. So you can adjust the sharpness to whatever you like, okay? So for me, it looks like 0.5 is pretty good, or 0.4 or whatever around that area. I mean, it all looks really good. So I'll put mine around like 0.547 and then hit save INI. Now to close this, you have a choice. You can either click on close or hit the insert key. It also brings that up as well. Now, when I run around, we're gonna have these super high, super smooth frame rates with no user interface shenanigans. Another thing you can do is go ahead and open up your menu here and then go down to System and then go into your Options area and then go to Graphics. Now remember, when you're in here, make sure that you have your display sync technology to VRR. If you don't have any G-Sync or FreeSync or any of that, select VSync, okay? Just make sure you have the right option. And again, if you want to use dynamic resolution scaling, you're going to want to drop this down and check these out. See which one works best for you. Just remember, though, the steps prior with the engine.ini that we went over earlier in this video. Make sure that you actually have dynamic resolution scaling enabled in the game. I have mine completely disabled because I want the actual resolution, but that's just what I want, okay? You do what's best for your system. Another tip here is feel free to play around with this tool. Just because I went over these certain settings in this video doesn't mean there's other settings in here that don't work for you. But seriously, check out the quality overrides for DLAA and ultra quality and balance. Check all this stuff out. Ratio override. Then you have render presets override with DLAA presets, ultra quality presets. Check out all this stuff. Then you have motion adaptive sharpness, output scaling. There's a lot of really, really good stuff. And as you notice, this is my resolution. Some of you guys may be wondering, what resolution am I running at? It's 3840 by 1600, like listed here at the very bottom of this tool. Okay, for you ultra wide users out there, that is me included, I have some exciting news for you. We do have an ultra wide fix thanks to Lyle. Lyle is the very same person that fixed the FF16 ultra wide fix as well. Huge shout out to Lyle. So go ahead and come to the GitHub page here where Lyle is at with the FF7 Rebirth fix at the very top. Go ahead and scroll down. You're going to see the releases right here. This release number constantly changes almost daily. So be sure to come back here and check out the latest update. Go ahead and click on this version here. Go ahead and scroll down to the very bottom of the screen and click on this zip right here under the assets section. Now, if you are using Chrome and you download this, it's going to come up as a virus detected. So what we're going to do is switch over to Firefox. So now we're in Firefox with the same link. Nothing's changed, right? So go ahead and click on the zip file here, and it's going to go ahead and download. Go ahead and open up the download folder, and now you have your zipped file right here. So go ahead and extract this file. And you're going to have two folders and a file right here. You're going to have the in folder and you're going to have extract to game folder. And if you look at Lyle's notes, he actually tells you where to drop these off at. So we've been going to the same place this whole video. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this folder and this file from the ultra wide fix, okay? You're going to copy or cut, is absolutely your choice. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back over to where the game is installed. So just to keep it really simple for you guys, go back to Steam, right-click the 7 Rebirth game, go to Properties, and then go to Installed Files, and then Browse, just in case you get lost in all the files and stuff we've been doing. And here we are. This is where the game is installed at. Go ahead and drop that in here. It's going to say, hey, would you like to replace this? Yes, let's go ahead and replace that. And that's how you get Ultrawide installed. It's that simple. Now, if you want to make changes to the Ultrawide mod fix, you can do so by opening up the folder called End, and then opening up binaries, okay, and then Win64 as well. Now you're going to look for the settings file called FF7 Rebirth Fix and simply double click that. Now you're going to have this right here where you can adjust different parameters, such as the frame rate right here, where he says, adjust FPS to override the 120 FPS option in game with your desired frame rate cap. You can place that right there. Another one here is the gameplay FOV, adjust multiplier to increase or decrease the gameplay FOV. So, i.e. for 20% higher FOV, set the multiplier to 1.2. Right now, the multiplier is set to just 1. Here's one of my favorites, is the vignette, set to true to disable the vignette, which I will do right now in this video. Hit Control-S to save, which is the darkening around the edges. You all know what vignette is. Ultra wide or narrower areas right here. Fix aspect ratio set to true to allow the use of any aspect ratio, and fix cropped FOV. This is true by default. Now, fix HUD set to true to center the HUD to 16:9. Enabled is true. Adjust rescale to set the resolution sharpness of the HUD. Leave at 0 if you want it to automatically be adjusted. Your valid range is 0 to 5. So I'm going to set mine to 0 for automation. Finally, we have fix movies set to true to fix cropped pre-rendered videos or movies in the game. Note that fix aspect ratio and fix HUD must be enabled for this option to take effect, and by default it's set to enabled. Remember to hit Control-S to save, or just file save, your choice. Once you click on play and the game boots up, you'll see immediately that it's working, because you'll see the borders on the right and left side doing its, ultra wide shenanigans. That's how you know it's actually working in ultra wide. So here's our logo. Go ahead and hit any button to continue, and then boom, we're in ultra wide. I'm going to go ahead and load in the game just to kind of show you proof that it is working, like I did throughout this whole video. And then once it loads in, you're going to see that ultra wide works beautifully. Now your cutscenes are going to be in 16:9, like the video cutscenes, but the game itself is in ultra wide. The menus are in 16:9. If you open up the pause menu here, it looks just like this right here. If this video was helpful, please drop a like, subscribe, and drop a comment. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.